Tehran is drowning in sewage water. Non-stop explosion in Khamenei's stronghold. Car bombs exploded suddenly in many locations around Tehran, the capital of Iran, and dozens of nuclear scientists were eliminated, and the Revolutionary Guard stronghold, or what is left of it, is flooded with sewage water. Netanyahu, we eliminated the head of the intelligence and his deputy in Tehran. And meanwhile, in Israel, there are many dead from the missile strikes since the start of the operation. In last night's attacks, 10 people were killed. Amongst the dead are an 80-year-old woman, a 60-year-old woman, 2 women in their 40s, 2 teenage girls, a boy about 10, and a girl about 8. I'm Yair Pinto, and I bring you Boots on the Ground, the news report about what you need to know that's happening in Israel. Today, I'm here with our senior correspondent, Mati Shoshani, to bring you all the truth about what is happening in this region. This is the end of day 3 of the direct war between Israel and Iran, and Operation Am Kelavi. Mati, we will already dive in together into the details, but let's quickly go over the headlines. Is this the beginning of the end? Is Iran taking a hard blow from Israel? Let's go to reports from Iran. Cars exploded in Tehran unexpectedly, and at the same time, more nuclear scientists were eliminated. And on the streets of Tehran, several cars exploded, and according to the report, more nuclear scientists were eliminated. Earlier, Israeli officials warned following the missile fire towards Israel that buildings are going to fall in Tehran. Iran is on its knees, and Tehran begs for a ceasefire with Israel following painful strikes and severe damage to critical infrastructure across the country. Israel made history, an unprecedented Air Force event in Iran. At a distance of more than 2,000 kilometers from the Israeli territory, the Air Force carried out a pinpoint strike on an Iranian tanker aircraft. The strike was carried out near the city considered the holiest in Iran. And in addition, a significant strike in the heart of Tehran. The head of the Revolutionary Guard's intelligence and his deputy were eliminated. And on top of all of that, reports in Iran just now call of explosions in the city of Sananjada near the Iraqi border. According to the reports in Iran, explosions are heard in the city of Sananjad in northwestern Iran near the border with Iraq. The IDF announced moments ago that fighter jets struck missile production sites, radar, and launchers in Tehran. The Air Force struck and destroyed sites for surface-to-surface missile production, radar sites, and surface-to-air missile launchers in Tehran. Iran returns fires in waves towards Israel. Missiles hit buildings in northern and southern Israel in recent hours in salvo from Iran. 7 wounded were evacuated to the Rambam hospital in Haifa in Israel as a result of the direct hit in that city. And the energy market goes into a spin. The price of a barrel of oil soars, and this is only the beginning. Oil prices last weekend showed the most extreme volatility since Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022. And earlier, a security source confirmed we struck an oil facility near Tehran. The missiles that Iran has not yet pulled out and the dependence on the United States to destroy the nuclear program, the next stage of this war, Israel still hopes that the bunker penetrator bombs that only the Americans have will be the finishing kick and will complete the historic move of destroying the nuclear project. One dramatic achievement is complete, opening Iran's skies to a permanent Israeli presence. Mati Shoshani will brief us on all the details about what Trump said, and that in an interview with ABC, the United States president did not rule out the possibility of throwing his army into this campaign, and added that he's open to Putin mediating between Israel and Iran. Much lies ahead, so let's dive into details. I'm Yair Pinto, and this is your Boots on the Ground report about what is happening in Israel. And today is day 620 of the war against Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis in Yemen, the militias in Iraq, and the terror organizations in Judea and Samaria. All of them are taking their orders from Iran's Revolutionary Guard, which is the head of the axis of evil in the Middle East. And guys, here, Mati Shoshani and myself bring you live all the information that is coming out of Israel during this war. But 1 second before we start, I want to call on you to help us share the truth and help us continue to spread it. So first thing, to share the truth, please hit the subscribe button here on YouTube so you never miss another episode of Boots on the Ground. And second of all, if you want to help us create more videos like this one, please consider making a donation to tbnisrael.com/give. You can see the link here in the screen below. And you can also hit the donate button on YouTube to help us reach more people with what is happening in Israel so that you'll pray for the peace of Jerusalem, but in a way that you know how to do because you know what's happening here. So, Mati, are you with me now? How was the last 24 hours for you? Mati Shoshani, is Mati with me now? I don't think Mati already is with me. Mati has spent already 3 days in IDF reserves in Judea and Samaria, preparing for a possible infiltration by terrorists associated with Iran. And the first few days of getting into a new area, you need to learn the area, you need to train, you need to make sure that your weapons and your gear is up to date. So I guess he will join us a bit later. But Mati, is that you? I see you.
I hope I'm actually here, Yael.
Yes, you are. You look a bit dark, but I can see you. It's good.
Sorry.
It's good to have you here, Mati.
I'm apologizing. This isn't up to our usual level. I just came straight to do this live, and I'm with very little resources here, as you know. But
yes.
It's good to be with you.
Oh, I appreciate it, Mati. So what can you tell me first of all about how you are doing? How is the IDF doing during these days? And then we'll dive into the details about the last hours and the attacks from Iran against Israel just now.
Well, I want to tell you, I just spent a very, very long day. What is it? It's after midnight right now. A very, very long day training and prepping with several other units in Judea and Samaria. And I want to tell you, the Israeli army is stronger now than it's, I think, ever been in this region. Highly prepared, highly motivated, highly mobilized to really, prepare for any eventuality that's coming our way. I spent a lot of time in briefing in the last couple of days. And I want to tell you, the IDF that we're encountering today is very, very different than the IDF of October 7th, 2023. It is highly motivated. It is enormous in numbers. It's much better equipped, much better trained than it was previously. And many of the lessons have been learned since then. A lot of the things we've been talking about, obviously I can't repeat on camera, but I think when we're looking at what we've seen in Iran in recent days, when we've seen the victories and the success of the Israeli army, to think that we're an army that's fighting right now in multiple fronts. I'm in Judea and Samaria. We have people in Gaza. We have people, in countless places around the world. Who can count how many fronts we're fighting right now? It's really, really impressive to see how successful it's been. Highly impressive. And the readiness level that we're experiencing right now is amazing. And I want to say this also, the motivation level that we're experiencing is very, very high. Support from the civilian population is, as usual, incredible, especially in Judea and Samaria. But the military is ready. The military is, I'm right now in an area where many of the commanders that I'm working with are people we've now worked with multiple times in the last 18 months. So the units are high in training, high in expertise. It's a well-oiled machine and a big machine at this point.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Mati. So before we dive into more topics, I want to get into all the details, boots on the ground style, and then I'll get back to Mati Shoshani. So the Iranian news agency IRNA reported that 5 car bombs exploded across Tehran after an Israeli wave of airstrikes across the Islamic Republic. So according to reports in Iran, in the explosions, more nuclear scientists were eliminated, and footage published on the social media networks showed smoke plumes across Iran's capital. And amidst the car bomb explosions and the continued Air Force strikes in Tehran, many residents were documented leaving the city. Iran's traffic police chief testified to a surge in the number of vehicles streaming out of the capital at each exit from the city, and the New York Times reported long lines at gas stations. And meanwhile, an eyewitness to the strikes in Tehran told Reuters that indeed several areas were struck simultaneously and called on Iran's supreme leader. They just struck right now. Khamenei, end the war. These are the calls of some Iranian people. And amidst the car bomb explosions, the continued Air Force strikes in Tehran, many residents were documented leaving the city. And Iran's traffic police chief testified to a surge of number of vehicles. Guys, this is something crazy. It's not normal to hear these reports from a people that was under this evil regime for so long, because this regime was oppressing the Iranian people, and now they feel that they have an option to rebel, even if just a little bit. Okay, so let's pray for these people. So we have eyewitnesses that watched the strikes in Tehran that told Reuters that indeed several areas were struck simultaneously, and called an Iran supreme leader. They just said to him to end the war. This is different sources that reporting the same thing. The people of Iran are calling on the supreme leader to end the war. And the Air Force, today, the Israeli Air Force struck an Iranian tanker aircraft at a distance of about 2,300 kilometers. The strike was carried out at Mashhad Airport in eastern Iran. This is the farthest strike ever by Israel. Mashhad is considered Iran's most important city and a Shia stronghold. Thus, the IDF delivered Iran a double and triple message. Do not put your old plans up against the Air Force aircrafts, for their fate will be like that of the tanker aircraft. The additional message is that Israel will hit every strategic Iranian weapon, from missiles to tanker planes. And third is that Israel made it clear that it can fly in daylight to any point in Iran and hit any target. So chaos in Iran rose to a new stage today, following the Air Force strikes waves that were aimed at various targets in Tehran, such as the Revolutionary Guards headquarters, the oil ministry buildings, and additional military facilities, as well as high-rise buildings. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu confirmed in an interview with Fox News that the strike eliminated Mohammad Khazami, the head of the intelligence branch, and his deputy, Hassan Muhakkak. Earlier in the Air Force struck, it hit dozens of targets simultaneously in Iran's capital. And amongst these targets were defense systems, buildings linked to the Revolutionary Guards, in which apparently were senior figures present in that location, and weapons, mainly ballistic missile sites. And according to a report on the news site associated with the Iranian opposition, Iran International, Khazami and his deputy were trapped under the rubble after the Israeli strike on the organization's building in the Iranian capital. Their condition is not known at this moment, and the report said before Netanyahu's interview, in which he confirmed that they were eliminated. Meanwhile, Reuters reports that in the past 2 days, the United States president vetoed an Israeli plan to assassinate Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei. The strike in Mashhad is the farthest since the start of the operation, and amongst the farthest ever in the history of the Air Force. Yemen is about 1,900 to 2,000 kilometers from Eilat, which is the southernmost city in Israel. An operation Wooden Leg, in which the Air Force struck Palestinian Liberation Organization's headquarters in Tunisia in the 1985, was about 2,300 kilometers from the Israeli territory. So today's strike required in-flight refueling, but the fact that the Air Force created a secure corridor up to Tehran allows the Air Force to fly high with many munitions and almost no need for aerial refueling. Israeli sources said that in response to the ballistic missile attacks from Iran, which caused the deaths of more than 10 people and led to hundreds more that were wounded, buildings are going to fall in Tehran. And a senior cabinet source added, Iran will intensify the attacks against civilians in Israel because it thinks that the home front is weak and this will break us. But they are greatly mistaken. We will defeat them. A senior security source delivered a message to Tehran. We still have many surprises. There is great determination in Israel. There is no real pressure on Israel to stop. They want us to finish it. Behind the scenes, there is a start of mediation arrangements, but there is not yet a concrete ceasefire proposal. And I will just report, to top it off, that floods of sewage in Tehran follow sudden infrastructure damage. In the Iranian media, they accused the Mossad agents sabotaged as sewage pipes. Mati, what do you think about all of this situation? What do you say about the sequence of the strikes? And what is Israel focusing on right now?
One, I'm impressed. Let's start with that. and I think we all should be impressed. Look, what's been going on in Iran is amazing. We're living in history-making days and possibly weeks. And what the Israeli Air Force has done in Iran is nothing short of amazing. And I need to contextualize this for people. For years now, people have thought that Iran is untouchable, that their ring of fire doctrine, around Israel, the Hezbollah, their proxies, their missiles, their strategic missiles, their anti-aircraft missiles, it's enough to stop anyone. And even the great U.S. and its allies were wondering, well, can we attack? What will be the cost of the attack? What will be the casualty toll from this attack? And meanwhile, on day 1.5 of Israel's attack in Iran, Israeli planes are literally loitering in the skies of Tehran. They're able to run missions where their plane pick up on various targets for multiple hours over the capital of the Iranian people. And then we know that Israel has been very creative, and by very I mean historically, uniquely, impressively creative in facilitating some incredible solutions. Cyber attacks, hiding drones within the deserts of Iran, using people from within the Iranian society to attack, and probably countless other crafty, clever, and unique ideas to obtain the targets, to obtain the intelligence, and to get on their case. And the sewage might be related to Israel, it might not be related to Israel, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Today's cyber warfare often goes after infrastructure. Military facilities are usually well guarded. It's very expensive systems, so people spend a lot of money protecting them. But when it comes to civilian infrastructure, think about recent attacks that have taken place in North America, recent attacks that have taken place in Europe. It's not that hard for a substantial hacker group, and Israel has one, the Iranians do too, but so does North Korea, to really, hack a grid, hack a plant, hack a factory. Israel's done this multiple times to the Iranians. Look back to the history of the Iranian nuclear program. You have the Stuxnet worm, which was essentially a computer malware that was installed on multiple hardware pieces that essentially brought down many components of their nuclear program. That was a combined effort of Israel, the US, and I believe the UK, but there are many of these operations. And I think the whole point here, we talked about this in last night's live, is that we're not just fighting a war that is a zero-sum game. It's not, will we destroy Iran? We're not going to destroy Iran. The goal here is multiple things. Stop their nuclear program, but also project power, project the perception of bringing down their regime. And that's exactly what's going to happen. By the way, I just got a news flash that I think a strike is coming our way. Did you get that same strike?
Yeah, me too. Yeah, just got it now.
Let's run this till till we have the time. Anyway, so
well, it's like half an hour. They give us half an hour before the missile comes.
It might be a while. Anyway, so you look at that, and the amount of craftiness and the amount of creativity that's gone into it, truly impressive, truly amazing. And I want to say this, and we've said this multiple times: the Iranians are not a weak entity. They're a powerful country. No. They've spent a lot of money, a lot of time on building up this infrastructure, and we've seen the results of it. The last couple of days have been painful for the people of Israel. We've had casualties. We've had, buildings struck down. We've had, we're talking substantial damage, not to the degree Iran was hoping for, nowhere near it, not near in the percentage of success, but still a substantial amount of damage that was caused to buildings in Israel, and it hurts. But at the same time, we understand, I think we, the Israeli people, we know we're fighting a war of a lack of choice, as we like to say in Israel. This is something we've been forced into, and if it doesn't happen now, it would have happened in the future. And right now, we're in a place where there was no choice. Iran pushed us to the wall. They said, we're going for a bomb unless you stop us. So we have to stop them. That's why we're fighting this war. In self-defense, in self-preservation, in a deep desire to survive and outlive this dictatorial regime in Iran. That's why we're fighting this war. And so far, we've been unbelievably successful. We've been abundantly blessed and protected by God, I think, in this operation, in preventing any of the missiles hitting our airplanes, most of the missiles not making it into Israel. Very impressive so far.
Yeah, definitely. And Mati, just in case there is a sirens alarm, we will go to the bomb shelter and we will keep the video live going, so you guys back at home can actually see the missiles. And we really encourage you guys to also pray for us during that moment, that all these missiles will be intercepted. Looks like we have another maybe 20 minutes before the sirens will start sounding, either in my location or at Mati's location. And but until then, I want to go to another update of what's happening in the last 24 hours in Israel. And in the meantime, I want to tell you that we are bringing you daily updates from Israel. Our channel is called TBN Israel. And for those of you who haven't subscribed yet, it really helps us if you just hit the subscribe button and help us reach more people with what's happening in Israel. Okay, so Israel had a very, very difficult 24 hours. And not long ago, a salvo was launched towards us. I was in the bomb shelter just 2 hours ago. And missiles hit buildings in the north and in the south in that salvo of rockets from Iran. 8 people were lightly wounded. This is after the deadly salvo that the previous night was carried out by Iran against us, where 3 people were unaccounted for in Bat Yam, which is an Israeli city. In all, about 200 wounded were reported in the Dan region, which is central Israel, and Shfela, which is near the sea, and at least 6 of them were in serious condition. So hours earlier, a missile hit directly in a house in the Tamra in the north, which is an Arab-Israeli community, and 4 female members of one family were killed, and 20 others were lightly wounded.